Oh man, this is going to be a divisive month. Another week means another update video, and I'm going to go over everything you guys need to know post maintenance for the September 6th update. But if you're new here, consider subscribing. We do these videos for every single update, and if you like what you see, toss a like on the video. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, like I mentioned, this update's a bit divisive. I feel like this whole month is going to be divisive. We're not going to go into too much detail on this, though there are some good things to go ahead and talk about. Let's jump over to the update video, excuse me, of the article that we checked out in a previous video. It looks like they're either going to update this article specifically, or there's going to be a new one posted, because this only includes the preview information. We've already been over this stuff. So we've got the autumn event, we've got Z-Trace, our navigator, the new weapons. We also have the limited time quest drill unidentified region, as well as weapon camos in the autumn 2023 special scratch. We also have the scratch, Moonlight Sanctuary. Not a really big fan of this one personally. All we really got is type 1s. There's this jacket. Looks like type 2 got 2 outfits. You got a little maid outfit, and you got this one. Though people are probably going to say, hey, look, you could have gotten a second outfit. They would have just given you the maid outfit. Which I don't even want to think about it at this point, man. Paper airplane. I guarantee people are going to use cooling off type 1 version for some nefarious things. So just ready to see that in the lobbies. Jumping over, we do have an article talking about account suspension, due to malicious behavior. So if you're someone who's like, oh, well, I got suspended, I wonder what happened, this is probably you. Good luck with that. Looks like a lot of RMT related stuff. They talk about what RMT is. You can't really borrow accounts or transfer accounts. That's why I never really do anything like borrowing, even if it's in the idea of making like a video or showing something off. Don't even bother with it because it's against TOS. In-game malicious behavior. This is what I tell people all the time. If you are dealing with someone doing something, terrible to you or harassing you, just report them and move on. It's the best thing you can do. People continue that sort of stuff to try to get a rise out of you and to try to upset you. So, posting about it, making a huge scene about it doesn't really help you. Just waste your time. SG shop stuff. So I saw this and almost good, but kind of bad. They got a purchase limit of 3, which is good. That means you can get it for all your units if you want to go ahead and do that. But you've got things like Hal Finale S, which is nice, but Mastery 4S, which feels out of touch. Mastery 4 isn't really necessary, nor is it used in the current best in slot setup, seeing as we have 100% crit weapons. Even Slayers who don't have 100% crit weapon have high enough crit rate that Mastery is actually not in their best in slot lineup. So I guess if you're someone who's gearing up one of the event weapons, and even in that case, I believe it comes with Mastery already, so you really don't need that. Maybe if you're gearing up to use the event weapon, but again, you can get the event armor, so that also is a moot point. This seems very out of touch and very unnecessary. So if this was like, I don't know, Gladius Soul or High Domina maybe, then this would definitely be worth it. But for 700 SG for just a Hal Finale S and then 24-hour and EXP earned is just not really worth it. So yeah, a bit out of touch. Hopefully we see these be a bit better. I know people are kind of weird about SG giving you the ability to purchase anything that has any upgrades involved in it, but that's a conversation saved for another video. The event scheduler just shows us the September update info is super short. They need to actually show everything we need to see, but after the headline, I'm not sure what exactly they're going to post. So we'll have to see what they're going to do there. Gear up your class campaign, SG bargain stuff we just went over. The Uncle from Another World collaboration does end after this week, so keep that in mind if you want to go ahead and get any of the items from there. We also have Moonlight Sanctuary and Autumn Special Scratch starting up, but we also have the emote collection ending this week as well. If you are someone who does put money into the game, this is probably one of the best scratches to scratch on. A lot of these items are worth quite a bit. So if you are going to, again, put money into the game, this is the best place to put it. Stylish Summer, of course, still has 2 weeks, and then Uncle from Another World collaboration, scratch is going to be going away too. So that's about it for all of the event stuff. We have some changes in the SG scratch. It took me a while to go through this and understand it completely. But the long story short is they're removing the stage bonus, as a lot of the featured items in the stage bonus people either didn't want, or were getting in the way of people getting specific items that they did want after you reach a certain amount when you were scratching. So instead, they're going to be removing it, and they're going to be changing a specification that does not increase the featured item, or change to a specification that does not increase the specific featured item. That can be good and bad depending upon what the featured item is, in my opinion. But a lot of times there are featured items that just aren't worth it. So a good thing to get specific things that you want. I guess it's weird for the dev team or for SEGA to decide what it is that we think is good from the scratch lineup. A lot of times it is correct, but there are some pretty awful choices that end up in the featured lineup that players realistically don't want to see or don't want to deal with. This again is specifically in the SG scratch, so keep that in mind. This isn't going to be anything that's evolved in the actual AC scratch. They're also going to be changing up the lineup, so it's going to be moved to something that makes more sense. Basically, older things, they're going to be falling off. Newer things, of course, are going to be showing up. Before that, they were just rotating out specific things. So we had certain things that had been there for a very, very long time. It looks like the first thing they'll be starting to go with stuff that came out for STIA, I believe, back in February. So those are the first things that are going to start to be discontinued in the next lineup. And they're going to kind of cycle them in like a time frame instead of cycling them with what they think needs to stay and what they think needs to go. We have Moonlight Sanctuary. Like I mentioned, this isn't really something I care too much about. Probably going to get all of the jackets just because I'm a collector like that. And I can color change them. And if I find a reason to use them, I will. But realistically speaking, it's something that really speaks to me. We can see some accessories. We can see some holograms, makeup stuff, innerwear and body paint. But yeah, nothing that is really all that interesting, at least again, not to me as a type 1 player. And the last one is the gearing up your class campaign. So this one we're going to go over in game in just a moment, but they've got this gearing up your class special campaign. Kind of funny because I made the comment when I first saw this. Oh, they picked fighter, gunner, and tector, classes I consistently see people not playing. So, oh, maybe they picked these because of that reason. No, these classes get grouped together a lot. It happened a lot back in base PSO2 as well, where these are the classes that released all together. You had Hunter, Ranger, Force, Fighter, Gunner, Tector, all came out together as well. So I'm sure that's the reason why they have these grouped the way that they do. But maybe I'm right. Maybe they just decided to do this based on players not playing these classes. We've got a couple of different things to go through. And like I said, we're going to get the limited tasks in game because it actually shows what we need. But you get things like beta reactors and augmentation success rates, augmentation success rates, enhancement success rates. Looks like growth mints and triggers. I don't think you need triggers really. We have tons of them, so that's kind of whatever. But had a benefit to leveling these classes and a cool little plaque for you to use in your creative space. So let's pop over in game really quick and we'll take a look at what the actual tasks are. All right, cool. So in game, we've got the individual tasks. We can see if we switch over to fighter, we're going to get extra weapons at plus 60. I wonder if these are 70 unlocked. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Leveling up to 60 gets you the actual plaque. So I basically get these weapons in the plaque immediately since all my classes are at least level 70. And then it looks like you also get an augmentation success rate plus 20 if you defeat 1,500 enemies as a designated class. That's not too bad. Honestly, it's something. I'd say that much. Having to play the class specifically to get that last one is kind of meh, but at the same time, 20% are actually very good. So we'll likely just toss this on as a main class and subclass bouncer while we're doing our dailies and just get this done. This shouldn't be too terrible to do, so you don't have to really worry about killing any specific enemy in a specific location. It looks like it's just enemies in general, so that should be pretty easy. Looks like if we complete all of these, we get 3 beta reactors, so some money and 100 star gems. So again, easy star gems, pretty nice. And then we just have some event stuff. I'm going to go over the event shop really quickly here because it is actually pretty good. It's decently solid. Pop into it really quick. So we've got our first iteration of them adding in the vital gauge. So we have a vital gauge for Alpha Planes, which that's super cool. Star gems of course, and then we've got the, I don't know how to pronounce these. We have the event weapon, which is level 60 unlocked. I'm sorry, level 70 unlocked. It starts level 60, and it does come with some pretty decent augments if you're someone who's setting yourself up for this weapon and you're curious. Level 61 this immediately, and then go ahead and I would probably swap out this Arati soul for a 3% soul, one of the better ones. And everything else is realistically okay. This Ale Domina is kind of bad. Maybe a Steer Domina instead of this Ale Domina. This Mastery is fine. The Secreta is fine, realistically speaking. The Mastery kind of cancels out the Secreta in the first place, so don't worry too much about that. But you can do things like adding in a stat, adding in Gigas. Those are both pretty solid, and you can do that over alt Secreta if you really want to. I personally wouldn't, but it's there available to you if that's something you don't want to deal with negative augments or just negative stat in general. Leave Setsune at least for now during the event. You don't really want to worry about messing with that for now. It looks like they went with Ajax this time around, which is super awesome. Ajax is actually good. It gives us HP, PP, and then of course stat. Now this isn't as good as, of course, the Octo armor, but this is a fairly solid piece of gear. As far as armor goes, why did they do this again? They gave the armor Aegis, but they gave the weapon Arati, which I think is just, they just give the weapon Aegis, because like I could tell you, hey look, you can leave the Aegis soul on here, that's perfectly fine. This Arati soul is just weaker, so you want to replace that, but I don't know, man, weird. Wait, they also gave a trippable as opposed to, yeah, that's just, I guess they gave a trippable because it doesn't have the Setsune on it, but whatever. So Aegis is fine, trippable is fine. Trippable 2 is fine. Trippable 1 is kind of crap. Same thing applies, alt Secreta, Mastery, and Ale Domina, so you can replace those as you like. Of course, get the 61 to get the extra augment slot because that's one of the most important things before replacing anything else. Other than that, we have, these are still vastly overpriced. Don't even recommend looking at these unless you just have a ton of extra leftover points after you get the rest of the stuff. These are pretty standard. Mastery is, again, a little out of touch, not really used as much anymore, but super inexpensive here if you want to go ahead and grab it. Trippable, I would only look at for the idea of creating newer augments. Gigastat, you want to grab all of these because they're used for making Maste. These souls are okay. Dreadkeeper 4 is again out of touch. Useful in some cases, but not useful in the ways that most people use them, so just keep that in mind. It looks like they added in gold prim 2 and gold prim armor and sword 2s. That's actually really nice. It is limited to, I believe, 10. Yeah, 10. So not too great, but it is only 100k points, and when I remember, points go fairly quickly. Alpha reactors, so that's pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, again, the shop is more or less what I expect. It's kind of just good stuff to have as you're building up your account itself, whether you're catching up or getting ahead. We'll have to see how that evolves moving forward. And that's mostly gonna be it. If you guys have any questions or anything that I happen to have missed, feel free to toss it in the comments below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe when you keep up with more, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Peace out.